Okay, my friends, so for today's Start From Stash, I'm trying to make a bay window card. I think that's probably the more popular name for it. I don't know if they have other names for it. Essentially a card that kind of opens up like a bay window would, right? You know, has kind of like, I don't know what I'm trying to draw here, but anyway, something like that. So if I use any items that I can link there in the description box, those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you ever purchase items to those links. Usually that's like glues and maybe stamping platforms, whatever I might use, other than the paper. If this paper's still available, you know, I'll link that too. But get your stash going, right? We're starting from stash. This can pretty much be all done, I think, from what you have in your stash, because it's just a design style of card. The reason I haven't really tried it before is because I'm like, do people know what to do with it when they receive it though? Because it's kind of odd, but we'll try it. And my plan today is to make it a size that will still go into a standard A2 size card envelope, right? So this is 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Generally I cut them in half and then I score them, right? But this time we're gonna do it long ways. That way we have that bay window option with like the most length that we can play with it on that one. So what I'm gonna do is quickly cut this off-white kind of cream colored paper. Sorry, the lighting was driving me nuts. So I'm going to cut it on this side at 4 1/4, okay, on the 8.5 inch side, so 4 1/4. And this is Michael's heavy, extra heavyweight paper. It's not that heavyweight, guys. It really doesn't feel like it. That's weird. Usually when you're in like the 110 kind of pound, it feels really nice and sturdy, so I don't know what to say about that, but there it is. And I'm going to use this preserve paper that, again, I found as I've been picking up, and I am in love with this paper pack. So I'm going to use this stuff. And maybe to punch it up, I do have some gold hunky-dory paper, so we'll do that. But let's first cut this in half so we can start with our scoring. I guess you could use two separate little sheets that you're going to stick together, but we'll talk about that in just a minute, why I'm saying that. But let me cut this in half and I'll be right back. 4 1/4 on the width, or yeah. I'm gonna put these things to the side right now because what we want to do is start scoring, and I'm just coming up with this as I go along, guys, but you know, I'll say it often enough that you guys will get the numbers there. Okay, so generally we need to score at 5.5 because I still want it to fold 5.5 inches, so that's gonna be my first score line. 5.5. So essentially it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 when we make our card. Now, what it looks like is on these cards is that there'll be a little tab that still glues down here, and then it comes out, goes straight across, goes back down, and then another little 1/4 inch tab or whatever size you want. That just gives it more of a bay window look, and I think I'm only going to 4 1/4 inch for that. Maybe you can do 1/2 inch, I guess, if you wanted to, but I want this to stick out more. So let me write this down before we just jump into it, because what if I don't like the numbers, you know? So we already scored at 5.5, and this is 4 1/4 inches. So if we take a 1/4 inch here, that would be a score at 5 1/4. And that means we would do another 1/4 inch here, or you can make it bigger, I guess, this little tab. I feel like 1/4 inch is kind of small. So I'm just playing with these numbers for right now. Let's say a 1/4 inch. And that means we took 1/2 inch off of what's left. So we have 5 inches. And 5 inches, 2.5, losing the 2.5, 1 1/4. 2.5, let's see what that looks like. 2.5, it's kind of wide. 2. How about we do 2 here, and then 1 1/2 in here, and 1 1/2 in here. So that'd be another score line at 1 3/4. And then 2 more, so that's 3 3/4. And then that would be it for that. I think that's it, because then that will naturally be there. Okay, well, let's try it. So 1/4 inch, as I'm saying, I think that's too skinny. Well, let's try it. Let's just see what it looks like. 1/4 inch, because we're going to put possibly a piece of, well, we'll see what we do with that. 1 3/4, so 1 3/4, so 1/4 inch, 1 3/4, 3 3/4, and then 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and fold at the 5.5 inch mark. It's a little bit tough because that 1/4 inch right next to it wants to like meet up over here. Why is this paper so short? Can you see that, how long it is on that side? Weird. Okay, must be my scoring. But anyway, that's fine. This is weird. I'm gonna cut that off. How did that happen? 5.5. What? Do you see this paper? It's like a little bit longer, and this is right at the 5.5. That's weird. Let me trim that off, and I'll be right back. Because honestly, if it's 11 inches long and you scored at 5.5, and it is 5.5, then how did the other piece have some extra? Michaels, what are you doing? All right. Anyway, that first 1/4 inch score line is gonna go back like this. Okay. And then you're gonna glue in here. That's what I was saying. You can use 2 different pieces of paper because you can just stick a 5.5 by 4 and a 1/4 inch piece of paper to another one that's been scored, right? You don't have to have it from one piece, but there we go. And then this guy is gonna go like this, and I'm doing nice crisp lines right now. And then this one's also gonna fold in. And then this guy, this last piece is gonna fold out or up. I'll show you what that looks like right now so it makes sense. And that's basically your bay window design, right? Kind of interesting. It's different, right? I just hope the person who receives it knows what they're looking at. Now, wouldn't it be cute if you just stapled this? I think that'd be adorable. Or something like that, you know? But for right now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and... Actually, no, let's not glue it down yet, because I'm going to do a matte layer. And then here, you're going to put something that holds it up, right? Just like if it was an easel card or whatever. So it's kind of interesting. Like I said, I've never tried before, but you know, we'll see. Let me grab these papers. And I'm gonna write right on here because we're gonna cover it anyway. So we know this section is 2 inches by 4 1/4, right? So whatever kind of mat size you like, you know, go for it. These are 1/4 inch strips, so I might put some gold on it, but other than that, I'm not going to do too much more on those. Our other sections are 1.5, is that what I said? I only wrote half on there, but 1.5. So these are 1.5 by 4 1/4. So my first matte layer, I'm going to grab some really shiny gold hunky-dory paper that I have in my stash here, and I will cut my first layer to, you guys know I like them to being really close, 1 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then from my pattern paper, I'm going to cut a topper piece that is 1 1/4 by 4, just by 4. Let me write these numbers down again, and then we'll talk about it again. So 1 7/8 by 4 1/8, and then 1 3/4 by 4. So for this strip here, I'm going to cut a gold matte layer that's 1 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then I'm going to cut for my pattern paper 1 1/4 by 4 for that one and that one. And for this middle one, I'm going to cut the gold matte layer at 1 7/8 by 4 1/8, and then the pattern paper at 1 3/4 by 4. And to fill this in right here, I'm going to cut a piece, and you guys know I just love my eighths, so I'm going to do 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 to layer in here, and then we'll talk about the other things. So I'm just going to go through this. I don't know if I'm going to keep, look how beautiful this is. Oh my gosh. Oh, and the foiling on the back, because I was going to say maybe this would be really pretty for like the background piece, like this bright birdie. But then I'm going to put a stopper thing like right over his face, so I guess that doesn't work for that. But maybe this other side of it. I don't know. So anyway, there's just lots of pretty papers. I mean, I already have this one cut almost what I need the sizing of. Is it? Let's see. Oh, it's a little skinnier than I need. Oh, you know what? We can still do the 2 layers, right? The gold and this. Anyway, okay, yeah, this is 4 inches wide. I'm going to cut down some papers, and I'll be right back. glary. For these first ones, I'm just going to glue them down. I'm not going to take a moment to gut my papers, which you can, right? I did get that little bird. I thought that'd be cute because he'll be just kind of peeking out of here on that side. And I just kept cutting the paper in the way it came, so let's glue these guys down. Oh, see, I'm telling you, covering that little foiling really makes me sad. I don't know why that's not going, so let's just get a different bottle of glue. So again, 1 3/8 by 4 1/8 for these two side panels, and then the top layer I did 1 1/4 by 4. Of course, these can be whatever numbers work for you. I'm sure this would be really nice in a 5 by 7. I would make a big card. Just centering that as well as I can. And we could turn the papers around so you don't have to keep using the pattern side. You know, you could use this other side, the other pattern, I guess, since they're both patterned. But I just kind of kept going. So again, I cut this 4 inches wide, like the pattern paper, and then I cut off the other little pieces off of it. This middle one is 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. And then the top part, the pattern paper, I did 1 3/4 by 4. So the gold pieces I cut at 4 1/8, and then I cut the pieces off that I needed after that because they're all 4 1/8 tall. And then the pattern papers I cut at 4 inches and then cut the ones afterwards. So these guys, I think I will gut because that is a lot of real estate in here. And so I'm just going to take this. Ooh, this is from Daiso. I just found out the other day when I was doing some other stuff, so I was like, oh, I'll use this sometimes here. So, you know, just clear your area, make sure you're not right on the edge so that you don't end up seeing that you cut that away from the back. So I'll go like a 1/4 inch in, knowing that I only left like a 1/16 around there. And I'm cutting around this because yes, it's self-healing mat, and generally I bring out another one to cut on, but this guy's getting pretty beat up, so I'm not babying it anymore. And I had little bits that I know were still there. Like I didn't quite connect those. Okay. And so now we're going to put our glue on the very edges. Not super close to the edge because, of course, our paper is just going to be at a certain area there. And I'm going to use this side of the paper, this pretty pink side. And I could have glued this frame down inside the card first. Also, part of this is going to be in that weird little juncture in here. Maybe I'll use that side since I got glue all over it. Will be in here. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Actually, I'm going to put glue on here. And all in there. I'll stick this guy down first. No, buddy. Get in the right spot. There we go. And while I'm holding that, I'm going to glue this part. Again, a good amount of glue. You really want that to stay. So I'm going to hold on to this, maybe put something heavy just in that 1/4 inch, okay guys? So that way it opens up like this without that moving, you know? So again, I think it might be cute if you put some little staples or even a piece of ribbon in there, like put a couple holes just to keep it down. But I'm going to hold on to that and I'll be right back. I have this sitting on that little junction there. I'm going to cut the little pieces that go here. I'm sorry about the lighting. It's just that this is so gold. It makes it look weird. I'm going to cut this down. It's already 4 1/8 right from earlier. And I'm just going to cut them close to a 1/4 inch, just a little bit smaller, guys. That's going to be a tough one to get cut, but I'll be right back. So what I did was I went like a 1/16 of an inch smaller than a 1/4 inch. I did 2 of them, or I did 1 in this one, and I thought, that one looks a lot smaller, so I did another one. And how I did that, instead of trying to cut just something tiny, you know, over here like measuring, because generally you measure this way, right? What I did was I just took it off of here. So if I was at 3 1/2, I went to like 3 and, you know, I don't know, 5/16, whatever that is, moved it over and then chopped. So that way you do the math, but in the opposite direction. That way you don't have this little tiny piece that you're trying to work with on the other side. Okay, I think that's gonna stay, hopefully. We'll see. Again, I'm using a wet glue because unless you rip it, it's not going to move. So let's go ahead and glue these guys down. And then again, with these guys, you know, do you want to just glue them straight on? Do you want to pop them up? Do you want some dimension? Do you want to cut a hole into it, an aperture, which would be really fun too if you had something else in the background that you wanted to show through. So it's just lots of ways to play with these guys. I'm doing something very simple just to try it out for this first time. So in here, I'm going to clearly put my little panel. And like I said, I just went across the panels. I didn't pick different papers. I just kept cutting, so they basically match up if you were to take them off of these little bits here. And let's see where we're at. That looks pretty good. A little bit crooked. And then this last bit I'll glue right here, and then I'll take a moment to glue this strip right on the edge here, and then this strip right on this little edge here. Okay, and I'll be right back. How pretty that is. I love the panels. I like that little gold. And actually, this skinnier one probably would have been better, but that's okay. It was easier to work with this other one that's a little bit thicker. So the whole essence of this is that it's like this, and then you put something here that holds it open, you know, hopefully nicely, in that bay window look. I had people ask me recently, like, what do you do on the inside of a card? I mean, you can stamp sentiment there, you can cut a signature card. I would just use maybe some of the same cream paper and like a die cut or something, or just cut it down, right? Just piece of paper. But it always looks nicer when it's like a die cut, like kind of like a label size. You can pop it in there, that way you write your sentiment. Lots of different ways to finish off a card. Okay, so this is really pretty, and I was like, you know what, I'll go through my ephemera. I'm sure I have something from like Spellbinders or Diamond Press or even LGS Creative. Lots of ephemera, right? From a swap, I can definitely finish this off. But the other day, actually it wasn't just the other day, it was like a month ago now at least, I had picked these up at the Dollar Tree, and I thought they were interesting because they were so soft instead of being just kind of like super shiny, and you know how Dollar Tree does sometimes the stickers. Like this one's obviously crooked, so to fix that I would just pick this off and then put it back where it belongs nicely. And I'm doing this in the air, and that's not great because I totally messed that up, but you know, just pop it in where it should be. These are very interesting because they also have a dimension on the back, and I thought, well, look at, I mean, that's cute, right? It fits in there. It kind of has some of the same feel. I mean, even this big guy, this is home. We have grateful, thankful, blessed. That's cute. This guy's really big. Family. I mean, these all look cute. Let me see what's going on here. So why is this like, I don't know. It's from the Dollar Tree, guys. What are you going to do? I'm going to take a moment to try to get this detached. Oh, it wasn't attached too much anyway. And try to straighten that out, okay? I'm just going to detach it and then pop it back where it belongs. And to be honest, oh, for the second one. Actually, that was going to come back, but you know what? That was very easy to do. So let's go ahead and move that. Hopefully a little more lined up. Really give it a press. Oh, didn't really do that to this one. Let's get this guy off of here, especially because he's so in that bottom corner that's not exactly where I would want this stuck down. I'm just going to get rid of this, guys. It's really thick. Let's go with something like this. And also, I'm not even sure if I'm ready to stick this down. So I'm going right in the center because I don't know how big this sticker is. I mean, I can see that now. That works. I was thinking I can make like a little ruffle too, since I have this extra. I don't know how well it matches or if it even makes sense. But if I was to make a ruffle, I would have this little piece, and I would just make the smallest thing. So I always like to kind of like a crooked angle, come forward, go back, go backwards at that same angle, and then forward again, right? Something like that. Yeah, this guy's really small. He only has two. Maybe that's not the best ruffle. This could also be the stopper, you know what I'm saying, if I actually extended that. I think that's too short, but that's okay. Okay, so let's pretend that's going to be right there. Or not pretend, but let's go ahead and pop it there. And it could literally be anywhere, but let's just put it right here in the center. That's okay. And then here, interestingly enough, this has other little like sprigs, and I thought, oh, that might work for us. I'm really tending towards this sprig, but how cute is the fern? Oh, I love the little fern. It's just, he's kind of, I think it might work. Okay, again, it has these two layers, which probably works for this project. So let me try not to damage that second one. What's funny about that is I can definitely just use like this one if I wanted to. I don't have to double it up, but we'll see. I might end up removing that back one. He has, you know, dimension that we need for this to kind of tuck in here. That's the whole point. That tucks in there, and that's what holds this open. as a little bay window. And that would be the project. Is that interesting? So you open it up like this, and obviously send it off like this. That's kind of why I wanted to not use both layers on this one. I thought maybe just using the one layer would be better. So let me do that. I don't really like that bulkiness under there. Let's take this guy off again. And he doesn't have any shininess, which actually I kind of like better. I don't know if you can see, this one is just like, doesn't have any shiny stuff. I'm trying to get this little piece of sticky off of it. Just roll that off. And then this guy I can use for something else. He has that shiny kind of holographic look, so I'll just pop him back over here and I'll use it for another time. And then we have this guy. That way he kind of more blends in. Actually, we can put that wherever we want, but I'll just put it right there. A little softer, a little something in the background instead of being so like obvious, you know. Well, that is my card, guys. So again, you just kind of so do you think the recipient that gets this knows that's what you're supposed to do with it? That's my whole curiosity about these cards. But that was really fun, pretty easy. And let me go over my numbers again just in case. But there we are. That's really cute, actually. I like the way the gold peeks out here and there, so it just gives it a really nice look. And again, I mean, this is even light enough where somebody could just write on there the paper that I used for the background. Okay, so our paper was 4 1/4 by 11, right? And we scored it at 1/4 inch, 1 3/4, 3 3/4, 5 1/4, and 5 1/2. And then you did your matte layers, and again, I had drawn them on there. But you know, whatever kind of matte layers you like, that will work. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this start from stash, and I'll have images coming up, any links that may be available in the description box. Look at that. I mean, he'd be cute, maybe just tucked in there. Oh, I love ruffles, you guys. Anyway, I'll see y'all at the next one. Bye now.